What's up, everybody? This is Gray here with a Sunday shift report for you folks this Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon or wherever it happens to find you. You know how that goes. And I appreciate the folks that catch it on the replay because I know some people are in church, some people are having family things and things like that. So I truly appreciate you folks that do catch a lot of this on the replays that can't be in the premiere. I mean, sometimes I can't even be in the premiere, so I understand. I truly do. We got several things to go over today that's possibly in the news or not in the news. You know how that goes. Sometimes mainstream media only wants you to hear certain aspects of what's going on in the world and what is happening in our country and abroad. All right, and how I like to start off this show, basically, simply put, these are my opinions and my opinions only. This is when I read these articles, I look at them with my eyes and I interpret them with my own views and my perspective. So hopefully a lot of you folks understand that. Now, like I said before, every one of these articles, I'm pretty sure I got them all down there in the description. If you want to read the article in its entirety and kind of draw your own conclusion from it, it will be down there below, and you can click on the article and check it out for yourself and see what you think. Because if I was to read the entirety of all these articles, we'd be here for several hours. Anyways, if you can, smash that thumbs up button. It's always truly appreciated, man. If not, hey, it is what it is, right? Anyways, thanks for all you folks being here. Truly appreciate that. Mods, you guys rock. You know this. All right, so the first article I want to bring up here, folks, has to do with edible oil. You know, the oils that you consume, you know, like your olive oils, your corn oils, coconut oil, all the different oils that you consume that are edible. But here we are. So basically in this article, it states that edible oil prices hit record high as food inflation worries persist. Something that everybody on this kind of platform or in this genre of YouTube talks about, you know, food cost, food shortages, food storage, and the list goes on, right? It's just something that's not being alleviated, and I don't think is going to be alleviated anytime soon. So here in this article, it says edible oil prices continue to surge to record highs and adverse weather conditions for the world's oilseed growers, adding to the food inflation worries that will persist through 2022. Rapeseed and canola prices hit another record high on Friday. After last year's harvest in North America and Europe were hit with severe drought and reduced plantings, slashing global rapeseed stockpiles to a 4-year low. We have said this. I don't know if people really key into it, but everything that happened last year will affect us this year. The droughts, the derechos, the cold snaps, everything that happened last year to the crops will affect us this year. And if it doesn't get any better this year, if we face any droughts or any other things that affect our crops, even here or abroad, is going to make it way worse. We have reserves. The United States has food reserves, but of course, my assumption is they're dwindling. They only have so much. We've had stories here on this channel, as well as many others out there, that you've seen states hoarding food themselves. And I don't want to say hoarding, but they have large warehouses stockpiled with food. Is it for their, citizens? I don't know. Is it for government officials? I really don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not part of that organization or know how it works or what they're doing with it. But I've seen all the articles and the pictures of what they have been doing. So something to keep an eye on, right? Let me see here. It says, new concerns are developing in South America as La Nina weather pattern has produced hot and dry weather in top growing regions and massive floods hitting palm oil farms in Malaysia. And this is why I say you have to stay informed and educated with things that are happening abroad. Everybody has this consistent. Every time I do a video, there's someone says, I don't care what's happening in France. I don't care what's happening in China, and so on and so forth. But you guys get where I'm going with this, right? You have to care. It might not affect you at this second. It might be out of your realm of things, but eventually it will affect you. Here we are. As prices, anything that happens abroad can have a echo effect here in the United States. Some things won't, but some things will. Then it says, then there's a rally in crude prices and push towards greener future. leading to increased demand for vegetable oils to produce biofuels. So they're trying to take the oils, the edible oils, and create fuels out of them because they want the whole green thing, right? And man, I can go into a long tangent about the whole green stuff, and the pros and cons. And but the thing is when you really look at, I asked this question to someone the other day. They said, "Man, I love the Tesla cars," and we were having a conversation like, yeah, they have some pretty cool perks and stuff like that. But my question to them was, when these battery cells die, because basically they're 18650 cells, battery cells, which is a type of battery. Um, Anyways, and they're put together in these battery packs. And I said, when these cells die, what do they do with all this these lithium batteries? You know what I mean? Is it biodegradable? How do they dispose of it? Because with my place of business, you have to have they want you to have a specific way of disposing of batteries, because it's a hazard. So regardless of how it is right now, uh, it could be anything. We've discussed the whole wind turbine things. We've discussed um, other green alternatives and how sometimes it takes more power and to produce that. So they're kind of leaning on coal and fossil fuels to produce the stuff for this whole green thing. Anyways, I'm going down a tangent, folks. My apologies. It irks me because no one ever looks at the entire picture. They just say, "Yeah, this is great," because they said it on the news channel, or the guy sitting up there said, "This is what we're doing, and it's the best thing for the world." And you see it, everywhere. You see it everywhere in every country. Anyways, it says Arthur Portier, an analyst for Paris-based farm advertiser Argetel, told Bloomberg the situation is really tight and the buyers are still there. Paris rapeseed futures surged nearly 6% on Friday to a new record high and was the largest intraday gain since 2009. North American canola rose as much as 1.5%. A lot of people look at these percentages and they don't seem like they're high, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, they are. Hey, let's put this in perspective. I got an idea here. Let me see what we got. Let me move on to a different article that I kind of want to show you guys something in regards to our U.S. economy. So let me get rid of that there. Where is it at? We'll bring up the U.S. economy. No, let me show you the CPI first, which is the Consumer Price Index. That's kind of where I want to start with there, and then we'll move. So let me bring up this graph here. And if you look at the Consumer Price Index, this is from 2010 to 2021, or the end of 2021. Just for a moment, look at this chart. You know what I mean? This is going into 2022, but at the end of 2021, the Consumer Price Index it's almost off the charts, folks. Look at it, and it's continuing to rise. It's continuing to rise. So here's what I tell folks: if they don't understand the Consumer Price Index and how it all works into the grand scheme of things and how it all plays out, they should do some research on it. Broaden your horizons, and instead of if you have a few moments of your time and some downtime, check it out. Try to understand the economy and how it all works, because and I think, was it Rudy? Someone said it just recently that the way they calculate inflation is way different than they used to calculate inflation. So our inflation is probably a lot higher than it really is. But anyways, just wanted to throw it up there for a second, and I kind of want to get into this next article here. I'll throw it up on the screen. And this is, I try to take some of this stuff with a grain of salt because it gets a little bit confusing. It does, because no matter where you get your information at, there's always some sort of twist or play around with it. But let's dive into it. It says the U.S. economy once again falls well short of its estimates as just 199,000 jobs in December. Anyways, it says the U.S. economy continued to falter in December under Corn Pop's leadership, with a monthly job gains falling far below modest estimates set by economic experts. Total non-farm payroll employment increased by just basically 200,000 last month, well below the Dow Jones estimate of 422,000, according to a new report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The figure was down from November, when 249,000 jobs were added. And like I said, I'm going to get into this here in a second. Interestingly, unemployment continued to its slow downward trajectory during the month, falling to a 3.9%, just slightly over its pre-pandemic low. The disappointing numbers came alongside the emergence of the Charlie Victor, or the Big O, variant in the U.S. However, some experts noted that the numbers were likely recorded before the Big O spread significantly throughout the country. Of course, you see it everywhere you see record numbers, record numbers, record numbers. We haven't hit its peak yet. We'll hit over 1 million here before the end of February or January or whatever that clown said. Anyways, possibly, I don't know. You know what I mean? But anyways, it's persisting. The Big O is persisting, and I got something to add to that here in a minute. But anyways, my question is, so I'm looking at these figures, and it's telling me that the unemployment numbers are going down. But whenever I go anywhere, almost everywhere I go, there's a sign that says now hiring. And then I talk to the management folks that come into my shop, my patrons, and they visit me, and I say, well, how are things? And they're like, yeah, man, we're short-staffed. We can't find people, this and this and that. We're losing people left and right every time I hire someone. And this is in the restaurant industry, the construction industry. No matter where I look at it, even in sales, like retail sales. And then I have folks, employees, or not my employees, but people who are seeking employment, tell me, look, man, I put 100 applications in, and I can't get hired. And they'll go through their whole qualifications. I'm like, man, well, you seem like you have a great portfolio. I don't see why they wouldn't, especially for, like, let's say a job at Wally World. That's just my term for it. Anyways, and so it doesn't make sense. The numbers that are being presented when it regards to unemployment numbers and stuff like that, it confuses me, because everyone I know from the people that are trying to get people to work for them, they're having issues. From the people that are trying to gain employment, they're having issues. So is it just like a curtain in front of us? Are they trying to just make it seem like everything is just kosher, or it's okay, or borderline, or however you want to look at this situation? It's to me, it's very confusing. And me personally, from what I see, like physically see, and folks that I physically talk to outside of media and articles, it's not good. It's not good, and it's just getting worse, because this is over a year that I've been hearing things like this, and things keep on progressing down this path. I honestly really hope a lot of folks out there that are coming across channels like myself and others in regards to the preparedness field, and a lot of times I wish I would have changed my name instead of putting the prepping in there. And I know a lot of you folks like it. Is the reason I was literally reading a Reddit column, and they said, hey, put your best channel, your favorite channels, your favorite YouTube channels for preparedness. And a lot of the folks that were in there were writing, well, anything with the word prepping in it, I don't watch. They're fear-mongering. They're all about money. And the list goes on and on. And they've named some big channels. They named big channels in this, and like, well, I don't like this person because of this. I don't like this person because of that. And this is literally a prepping Reddit group, or a preparedness group. And these are the people that follow this Reddit thing. You know what I mean? I'm new to it, so I don't know how to really call it, and they're literally dogging anybody with that terminology in their name. And I'm like, man, that really sucks. Because a lot of us, there's some out there, don't get me wrong, there's some folks with that name, that whole prepping thing in their title, that do what they're saying that they're, do what they're saying, that do what they say, or doing what they say these folks are saying. But there's a lot of good people out there as well that are just trying to educate folks, and kind of, open their eyes up to preparedness and stuff like that. So I was kind of very upset reading that material and looking at who they, and there's only a couple people that we're familiar with, but they went and they made fun of people that were on Discovery Channel and other things like that. And I made fun of it. They just don't believe it. And they kind of went into more of people who do survivalism, with that kind of terminology, or homesteader, or gardening and stuff like that. And it just made me think, that maybe when I chose my persona here on the channel, and adding that prepping in thing, was it something that was going to limit my exposure on things and not get the message out about preparedness. Anyways, I went down a long tangent on it. I do apologize. It's just something that popped up that I read that kind of bothered me. That has nothing to do with the economy. And I don't know. I'm just trying to look here real quick before we get into some of the more nitty gritty stuff. I do want to hop overseas real quick to Berlin. I feel like I don't need to talk about the Kazakhstan thing. A lot of people already have. You guys are seeing what's happening. The U.S. is saying something. Russia's saying something else. There's dirt slinging and blah blah blah. And a way out. I always refer to this. The way we got out of the Great Depression. How did we get out of the Great Depression? How do we get out of all this crap? War. And I ponder this myself. Like, do these two countries get together and say, "Hey, we need a war. Let's use a ground war or whatever war. Hey, are you willing to lose 100,000 of your troops? I'm willing to lose 100,000 of mine. Let's have a war and let's build our economies back." That's a concern of mine, because we really don't know what happens at these closed door meetings with these leaders of the world. But maybe I'm just, my tinfoil hat is just underneath here and it's just, on fire. I don't know. Anyways, let's go over to Berlin real quick. It says cogeneration plant. I'm assuming that's what it's called because I translated this to English. So you know how that can happen. Anyways, it says cogeneration plant failed. 370,000 Berlin households without heating and hot water. Without heating and hot water. It's wintertime, folks. Anyways, this was Sunday, January 9th at 7:57 p.m. Of course, they're always a day ahead of us over there. International Dateline and so on and so forth. Anyways, it says due to a power outage on Sunday in Berlin, the Vattenfall combined heat and power plant in Klingenberg in the Rumselburg district failed. As the man, I'm going to butcher this one. I'm not even going to say that. Reports. It's one of their news outlets. Reports 370,000 Berlin households are currently without hot water and heating. Just think about that if you were put in that situation. And I'm bringing this to light because this can happen anywhere. We've seen it happen here in the U.S. Shall we bring up Texas? And look what just happened in Virginia. It wasn't a power thing, but you could still cold. And there's lots of snowstorms. I think New York City just had its first major snowstorm or snow or blizzard or whatever it was that some people want to, call it. Anyways, it says, according to the warning app, Nina, the operator is already working on a flat out solution to the problem. However, this could still take a few hours, probably until the late evening hours, and even after that, it will still take some time until the pipeline network has reached operating temperature again. So they try to sugarcoat it and be like, okay, it might take a couple hours, maybe to the late evening, or it may take just a little bit longer. Are the folks in Berlin ready for our, I don't know what the temperature is. I guess I could probably look it up right now and see if I'm far off the ball or not. But I'm assuming it's not warm. I'm assuming people need hot water, making the assumption that it could affect folks. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because power is getting more expensive. People have been emailing me saying that they've gotten letters in their mail that their fuel increases, their power company's been sending them like, hey, things are going up by 50%. 50%. That is astronomical in my eyes. And with inflation and, people having issues with jobs and the dollar being what it is, it just opens up so many different cans of worms. Where are we headed, folks? Where is the end result? Is it a full-on crash, or is it going to fix itself? You know what I mean? I try to be optimistic, to be honest with you, when it comes to stuff like this. I try to be optimistic, like, okay, maybe, just maybe, it'll fix itself. But then my tinfoil hat comes on, and I'm like, well, is this a planned situation? Do they want it to crash? Do they want, people to suffer? Is there some sort of crazy agenda behind this? I don't know. I can't be 100% honest and tell you, yes, this is what's going to happen, and this is who's doing it, and this is why. I don't think anybody truly can, but that's my perspective on it, to be honest with you folks. Anyways, I just thought I wanted to bring that up just because, and like I said, some people are like, well, I don't care what happens in Berlin. I understand, sure, but we've seen it happen here in the United States as well, and it's just something that's been happening a lot. not to mention just even the cyber attacks that have happened last year and that are continuously happening. I've used the statistics in regards to cyber attacks and the things that they're doing, and they're getting better at it. All right. One article that I am going to leave for last. I'm not going to read the article. I have things highlighted that I want to show you folks. It is linked down below. I can't read it because I'll probably get slapped in the face, if you know what I mean. Anyways, sorry, I felt like I still have something in my mouth, but where do I want to go at? Let's this is why I think states need more independence, because if we rely on the federal government, they can use political pressure and political power to make things happen. Not to saying that it will, but it's just disgusting what I see coming out of Washington. So let's look up corn pop versus the state of Florida or DeSantis. So let me bring up this article real quick. It says that corn pop Edmond cuts Florida's weekly monoclonal shipment in half. Didn't this man just come up on a news thing and say, it's federally, there's nothing we can do. It's going to be up to the states, right? Because first he was pushing one direction, now he's pushing a different direction. Say it's the states. Wow, that's reminiscent of what previous administration said, that the states are in control of what they do, being that we are the United States and we're a conglomerate of states, sovereign states and whatnot. And that's the way this country works. Anyways, to the article. The federal government slashed in half the number of doses of monoclonal antibodies therapy shipped to Florida from 30,000 to 15,000 this week, according to Governor Ron DeSantis. DeSantis said that 15,000 dozen received would be immediately utilized to support new monoclonal antibody sites. But for the federal government's decision to restrict supply of monoclonal antibodies treatment to Florida, my administration would have already opened additional monoclonal antibody treatment sites throughout the state, DeSantis said in a press release. The governor said that before Corn Pop's administration seized control of the supply, before the federal government seized control of the supply, Florida is administering 30,000 doses per week to infected patients. The treatment saved countless lives, DeSantis stated. Anyways, the Corn Pop administration is still obstructing the state of Florida's ability to manage our own supply of monoclonal antibodies. I don't know how many times I got to say that, and I will continue to seek additional doses, fluoropyridians, he said. And I don't know if I'm ever saying this wrong. I guess everybody has, because some people say epic times, some people say epoch times. I've noticed there's a difference, so however you want to say that. But anyways, reported January 3rd that the U.S. Health and Human Services, HHS, which is such a phenomenal organization, administration had relaxed its policies on limiting the monoclonal antibody drugs, paving the way for Florida to receive 30,000 treatments. The plan for those doses was set up to new treatment centers in high-needed areas throughout the South and the Central Florida region. DeSantis alleged that the limits that the HHS had set for Florida were political. And I agree 100%. It's all political. They don't want to see Florida do good. They want to make DeSantis look bad as they possibly can, because they fear this man. At least that's what I'm gathering, to be honest with you folks. I think they fear Governor Ron DeSantis and what his future holds, personally. But here's my thing with the whole feds withholding this thing from the Florida. Sure, they might get to smear DeSantis for a moment and make the state of Florida look bad, but they're hurting Floridians. They're hurting the citizens of this state because of their political infighting. It never affects the politicians. It affects we, the people. And that's how I look at it. Anything that these folks do always affects we, the people. And I think it's just a travesty, to say the least, that people might need this treatment because their life depends on it. And the federal government wants to restrict the shipments to this state just because of political differences. Now, some people say, well, that's not really the truth or whatnot, but that's just the way I see it, so I don't give a rat's ass. Put it that way. My apologies. I know sometimes you folks watch this with your families, but it's aggravating, to say the least. So let's talk about some of these. Let's talk about some of the Democratic cities and what they're doing around here in our country. Uh, you guys remember what happened in New York a year or so ago back with Cuomo and all that crap, right? With the elderly and the old folks home. Well, let's take a look at what Connecticut's doing, right? Let's take a look at what Connecticut's doing and tell me how this makes any sense to anyone out there. Even in that state, does it make sense? So let me put up the article for you guys to see. Anyways, it says Connecticut asks nursing homes to accept Charlie Victor admissions from hospitals. That in itself should just sound like lunacy, right? Nursing homes are being asked to accept Charlie Victor admissions from hospitals according to new guidance from the Department of Public Health, even as positivity rates within nursing homes are increasing sharply. The latest guidance from the DPH is an indication that the state is trying to alleviate the growing crush on Charlie Victor cases in hospitals as they near record numbers of patients. And most of these people are Victored up too. That's the funny part. Anyways, until Thursday, the health department required any patient transferred from a hospital to long-term care facility to have a negative Charlie Victor test performed in the hospital within 48 hours of their transfer, but that requirement is now waived. The Victor status of the individual should not influence decisions about hospital discharges or PAC admissions, according to the DPH. The guidance puts significant pressure on nursing homes that are already facing severe staffing issues and challenges and testing limitations, the provider said. This just sounds like they are creating a situation like what happened in New York. Will they be held accountable if it goes south? Will they? I pose that question. Will they? I don't know. I didn't see anything happen in New York. I mean, yes, what's his name got fired. He got, I don't know if he got fired. But anyways, Cuomo's gone. But I don't know if you guys saw the follow-up on there that the Attorney General or whoever that's, they're not going to file specific charges on him, specifically the allegations and whatnot. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. I know some of the New Yorkers probably know because it's probably in the papers around that area. But, yeah, they're not going to file those charges. So it's like he's pretty much going to get scot-free off it, other than he doesn't get to keep his job, kind of thing like that. Let's being that we're talking about New York, let's bring up this article. Tell me how this makes sense. Like I said, none of it makes sense to me. Maybe I'm just nearsighted in the way I look at things, but let me bring this article up here. The new mayor of New York City. Another shining star, right? It says the NYC mayor says he supports recently passed legislation allowing 800,000 people, non-citizens, 800,000 non-citizens to vote. So the New York mayor, the new New York City mayor, supports legislation allowing for 800,000 non-citizens to vote. I mean, I'm being realistic, folks. Does that make sense to you guys in chat? It just doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you. Anyways, Adam previously expressed concerns about the bill. Yeah, before he got, put in, right? Before he got elected. Newly sworn in New York City Mayor Eric Adams said Saturday that he supports legislation passed by the City Council allowing non-citizens to vote in local elections. I believe that New Yorkers should have a say in their government, which is why I have and will continue to support this important legislation, Adams, a Democrat who took office at the start of 2022, said in a statement. While I initially had some concerns about one aspect of the bill, I had a productive dialogue with my colleagues in government that put those concerns at ease. Basically saying, well, if we can get these people, these non-citizens to vote, you don't have to worry about this. We can keep on keeping this blue wave going in our great state of New York, in the city as well. But you guys get what I'm saying. Anyways, says, I believe in allowing legislation to be enacted is by far the best choice and look forward to bringing millions more into the democratic process. Millions more into the democratic process. Just think about that number. Millions more. Oh, man. Can't wait to see the future of New York. We've already seen the last couple of years, and it's just been a shitstorm. Anyways, that's New York. Let's dive over to Washington State. And this was brought to my attention down in Discord. I don't know if it was Harvey Black. I'm pretty sure. I think it was, or someone else. I'll give credit to you guys down in Discord that brought this to my attention. And I want to go a little deeper into it. But let's bring up the article that was in my Discord. All right. So it says a bill filed in Washington would authorize strike force to involuntarily detain unvictored families. They have already set up the internment camps. They've already set up the internment camps, folks. War on the unvictored, right? That's what it is. Anyways, it says the Washington State Board of Health may soon amend state law to authorize the involuntary detainment of residents as young as 5 years old. Shall I read that again? The Washington State Board of Health may soon amend state law to authorize the involuntary detainment of residents as young as 5 years old in the Charlie Victor internment camps for failing to comply, with the state's experimental Victor mandate. Anyways, WAC 246-100-040. If you're in Washington State, you can Google this or look it up. A proposed revision to include Charlie Victor Protocol under the state's Communicable and Certain Other Diseases Act outlines procedures for isolation or quarantine. The measure would allow local health officers at his other sole discretion to issue emergency detention order causing a person or group of persons to be immediately detained for purposes of isolation or quarantine. Health officers are required to provide documentation proving unvictored residents subject to detention have denied requests for medical examination, testing, treatment, counseling, victorization, that's a new word for me, decontamination of persons or animals. I wanted to say that was in there too, or animals, because like I said, if you follow Ice Age Farmer over there in Iowa, they're talking about things popping over to deer and elk and all kinds of other stuff like that. And then you see the bird thing over there in the UK. And anyways, animals. Isolation, quarantine, and inspection and closure of facilities prior to involuntary confinement in quarantine facilities, the resolution states. The amended law would also allow health officers to deploy law enforcement officials to assist with the arrest of uncompliant Washington residents. What do you folks think of that? Now you're saying, some people may say, well, that's just an article. It's still in process. Well, I got something for you. And I'll send it to you if you want. Email me. I'll send a copy of this to you. But you can find it on your own. I'll throw it up here on the screen real quick. And this is the outline of the law right here. And it gives you all the information here listed. I'm not going to read it because, I've already kind of went over the article itself. But this is it. Matter of fact, I think in the article you can find this. So if you click on the article link down below, you can find this as well and kind of look at this. Now, I do want to touch on this real quick because I've seen similar laws in even states like Florida. Because when I say certain things, people are like, well, Florida has this, and check out this law that Florida has on the books, or they're trying to put on the books and whatnot. So come to find out, there's very eerily similar legislation across many, many, many states, not just blue states and red states as well. Quite intriguing, to say the least. They're all somewhat worded similar. There is some differences. Some may pass, some may not, but stay aware of your local laws. Stay aware of your state laws. You might want to pay attention every once in a while. I know sometimes we're preoccupied getting our food stuff squared away, getting our gardening, dealing with our families, dealing with our work, dealing with our lives in general. But you need to kind of pay attention specifically to your local and state laws and things that are going through legislation, regardless of who your governor is. Just be aware, Anyways, let's jump into what else we got here. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Move that one around. So, the other day, was it a week or two ago, we talked about the Florona, the way they called it, the hybrid version of the lady that got the flu and the Charlie Victor or whatnot. And then we've talked, I've seen people talk about the IHU, and there's a couple other variants floating around and stuff like that. But this one came up, and I figured I'd share with you folks. It's new. It may not do nothing, but as we know, that's what they always say. But anyways, here's the article. It says, here we go. I like how that started. Here we go. The new Deltacron, that's what they're calling it, Deltacron strain discovered combines Delta and Omni, the big O. It's combining the two, and they're calling it Deltacron. Anyways, and I'm probably going to butcher some of these names, so my apologies in advance. Leonidas Kastraxis, professor of biological sciences at the University of Cyprus, has discovered a new strain of Charlie Victor that combines the big O and the Delta, dubbed Deltacron, according to Bloomberg News. These are currently the big O and the Delta co-infections, and we have found that the strain that is a combination of these two, Kostrakis said in an interview with Sigma TV on Friday. It says the strain of the Charlie Victor that combines Delta and the big O was found in Cyprus, according to Leonidas Kostrix. I'm probably messing his name up. Anyways, he's a professor of biological science at the University of Cyprus and head of the Laboratory of Biotechnology and Molecular Biology, or Virology. Don't let me get that wrong. Someone will correct me in the comment section below. Anyways, it says he and his team have identified 25 such cases, and the statistical analysis shows that the relative frequency of the combined infection is higher among patients hospitalized due to the Charlie Victor as compared to non-hospitalized patients. The sequences of the 25 Deltacron cases were sent to the GISAID, which I don't know what that is, some sort of international database that tracks the changes in the virus on January 7th. I'm pretty sure we'll hear more of it. Anyways, we will see in the future if this strain is more pathological or more contagious, or will it, or if it will prevail over the Delta or the big O, he said. But his personal view is this strain will also be displaced by the highly contagious big O. The big O is just making names, man. It just it's like dominating everything. For how long, I don't know. I really don't know, folks, for how long that's going to be dominating the airwaves and the states. All I can do is pray that everyone out there is safe and is in good health as we progress through these situations and these health crises. Because death of any kind, regardless of how it approaches your door, is disheartening. It's heartbreaking, to say the least. Heartbreaking, to say the least. So, folks, please stay safe out there and be as vigilant as possible in everything you can. I know there's it's just every time we turn around, there's something else, right? Who knows? We're only in January, folks. We're only in January 2022, and it just has not let up. It's pedal to the metal, or metal to the pedal, or however you want to say that word, right? It's just not stopping anytime soon. A lot of folks have said it. I even said it, last year. I just don't think, I said I want to be wrong. I truly do. I want to be wrong, but I have yet to be proven that, and a lot of other folks as well. It just continues from inflation to labor to supply chains to food shortages to everything else you can possibly think of. Some places are hit a lot worse. Some of the rural areas, when I did my Dollar Tree haul video, some people said, I wish my Dollar Tree looked like that. We haven't had stuff like that in a long time. So every place is different. Even places here in Florida, they vary depending on population density, people's buying habits, and everything plays into that whole puzzle of things. Anyway, so this last article, my apologies in advance, but I cannot read it. I'm going to put it on the screen, and it's linked down below, but I just want you to be aware of it, because I've talked to many people about this, health professionals as well, and got their opinion on it, and things that they will say off camera, but they will not say on camera due to whatever political pressure or what the norm is or the narrative and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I can say think twice. I can say that. Think twice. Think twice. And you can look up this person and whatnot like that, but if you just pay attention to what I have highlighted here, and like I said, it's truly concerning, because there's people out there fighting against what the majority is fighting for. And these people are being silenced left and right. Their First Amendments are being taken away. At least that's how I feel personally. The giants that control everything, that control media, that control tech, that control everything, are trying to keep it hush. They don't want stuff like this because it doesn't go with the program. Anyways, but it's something for you folks that have been pondering this. Some people are like, well, my job's going to do it. My job, I talked about what Nevada's doing. If you have family members that are not doing it and how they're going to charge you for it, we've talked about so many things. And folks, I was in a chat the other day. God, what chat was I in? I think I was on the Prepping Preachers live stream, and people were talking about dandelions. And I said, I have a video on dandelions. I did a video a long time ago, maybe about 8 months ago, 7 months ago. That was very informative. I wasn't as large as I was, so it didn't make a big as impression as it would do, how if I redid it now, but you can't drop the same video over and over again. So folks, if you get a chance and you're watching this right now, you should take the time and just go and look at some of my old content. Scroll all the way down to the bottom and just see if something happens to grab your attention. And I keep on promising that I'm going to clean it up. I need to set up playlists that are just gardening, Sunday shift report, prepping, gear reviews. I need to clean that up, and I will. I promise I will. But there's some other great information that I have shared that's more than just news. It's about prepping. It's about natural remedies. It's about food preservation. Things that you can do when it comes to your pack. Certain gear reviews. If you're looking for certain, let's say, a bag, or if you're looking for a certain machete I did a long time ago as well. There's a lot of things that I've done. Now, some of them may be a little bit long and drawn out. You can kind of skip through that whole process, but there might be some value to you, the viewer out there. So I suggest just give it a chance, look through some of it, and you might find some of it. Drop a comment. Let me know that you saw it and what you think, because I really look forward to you, the viewer, telling me what kind of stuff you think about stuff like this that I've done either in the past or now or in the future. That's why I read all the comments, or try to the best I can, to understand what you guys are, when I do something, how you guys are looking at it, if you guys enjoy it. Was it educational? Did some people find it helpful? And the list goes on. Anyways, check this out. The link's down in the description below. Let me know what you think. I'll probably still get slapped in the face for this, but it is what it is, because I know my Thursday night stream got slapped in the face because I talked about the one thing that was that date and whatnot. So anyways, it is what it is, man. And all I'm doing is trying to, provide an outlet for information and share things. And I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong in regards to that, because everyone else does. It's mainstream media, radio, newspapers, be it online or physical or whatnot. I thought it was our right. I thought it was our constitutional right to have a conversation and share information and be able to speak. But maybe not. Anyways, that wraps up the Sunday Shift Report. I want to say thank you to all. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, please do. It's truly appreciated. It does truly help the channel. If you just don't like what I have to say, do what you got to do, man. And like I said, unfortunately, it's not working in your favor in the aspect that YouTube has taken that power away from you, in the aspect that you can hit that thumbs down button all you want, but it's not going to show. So all you trolls out there that have, that like to use that option, I guess they've took some of the power away from your thing. So do what you got to do, man. I think it's funny. I like, was it Tim that says he calls them Skippies? Everybody has a name for them. I don't really care for them that much like that, They just, whatever. But anyways, thank you all. I don't want to go down that path. My apologies. But anyways, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for watching the premiere. Truly appreciate every single one of you folks that stay here and watch the entire thing. Folks that go and check the videos out, the content out. You guys are awesome. You guys make this worthwhile. I truly appreciate every single one of you. I don't know how many times I got to say it. It's just something that's always in my heart that I want to express almost on every single video I do, because without you, there is no me. Other than that, mods, thank you for doing the jobs that you do. I know some folks like Jan and Yarn and some of the folks weren't feeling too well. I hope you guys are feeling better now. But I'll definitely keep you in those prayers and wish you guys speedy recoveries, and anybody else out there who's not feeling that well. Other than that, you guys have a blessed day, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday with your family and folks. All right? Take care. This is Grey. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the rebound.